Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Good evening everybody. I hope everybody had a great Friday. It's going into a nice, wonderful weekend, and Militia Man and Crew are here again bringing you guys the news. As you guys know, that our dear Super Samson has been this week presenting so much information that it's been wonderful. I've been able to do quite a few videos, and it's getting to be that time of year where we may settle down just a smidge because, hey, Christmas time's coming. So everybody, I respect the fact that we're going to have holidays, and I believe it's going to be good holidays. Okay, so this article I have is called "Iraq Announces a Jump in Its Non-Oil Revenues." Well, obviously we all know why that's important, is because it's going to help pay Iraq's budget. And what we're waiting for is that 2024 budget that we're hoping to be exposed at any time. So anyway, Iraq announces its jump in non-oil revenues. It says the Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani announced that non-oil revenues jumped 14% after being 7%. That's a big jump, everybody. So what they're doing right now is they're making money, a lot of money. So anyway, they go on to say the port of Al-Fa is established and has become a reality, noting that conducting the population census is an indicator of security and stability. So they've opened the port, they have security and stability, and from what I can tell you, this is that it looks like showtime's beginning. 100% increase in non-oil revenues is not a small thing. I think everybody should take it big, because remember, they are going to probably have equivalency of their oil output in revenues as they will with their non-oil revenues and more. Okay, so it's big. Okay, so the communications. We implemented 4 million fiber optics in lines in 2 years. Look, the private sector is going to need communications. It's just the way it is, and they're going to need it effectively 24/7. So that's why has been a big deal that they start interlinking with other countries for electricity and power, and even outside of Iraq, in Iran I'm in, but that's what's going on. Fiber optics is huge. The fifth generation technology is coming. It's fast. The internet is, as you guys know, it's fast and furious, and that's exactly what the international private sector will require, because Iraq's going to be a very high-tech country when it comes down to it. It's probably going to be a showcase. It's going to be a model. They're the ones that even brought it up. And so take a look at this article in patreon.com/MM&C-Crew, and you'll get the picture, read up on it, and you'll should be able to enjoy. And let's see, there's quite a few of these articles, but this one particularly also is Iraq seeks global partnerships to boost the industrial sector. So again, those non-oil revenues is going to be big, but they're boosting the industrial sector. So they're going to start doing manufacturing. Remember when they talked about inputs and outputs? Iraq's going to have both inputs and outputs. And if you're an accountant, and I think a lot of you guys are, I know of one special member in our room who is very adept, worked for some of the biggest accounting firms in the world, and he's one of us, okay? And he appreciates us, he appreciates all you, because we give valuable information, and we do it as best we can, as solid as we can, with our best opinions, and I got to thank you from that today. So you guys, that's awfully nice. Basically, the doors are opening, and it looks like for many years to come. I mean, when you got countries like Bulgaria, what are they talking about? Strengthening their industrial collaboration, reactivating their joint committee, their bilateral meetings scheduled for next year. So ultimately, what are they doing? You got just countries after country coming into Iraq for what? To do business. So that's the theme that I see, and one of the reasons you'll see at the end of our show, so we're sometime between now and then, is that the Iraq has there's a good reason for everybody showing up And here's another article from a news outlet that says there's 4 untapped investment opportunities in Iraq. This company, which is called Iraq Venture Partners, has identified 4 main areas as untapped investment opportunities in the Iraqi market. You know, as all investors, you know, we might start paying attention because, you know, having the digital age, easy access to Iraq's markets, it's going to be a lot more easy to do, I believe. And so keep that in mind, because their ISX stock exchange is probably going to have a big change in the near future. And the volume that's been traded in Iraq has been making some records. And volume is important because that means interest. That means people are coming into the Iraqi stock exchange. So keep that in your mind. And we get professional advice, of course. So what some of the items that this company is talking about is fintech, e-commerce, agri-tech, and edutech. Okay, so as you probably figure out, limited access to formal banking creates demand for mobile payment solutions and digital financial products. Does that ring a bell? Digital payments, cross-border payments? Sure, it probably does. There's room for growth in areas like peer-to-peer lending, microfinance, and digital banking solutions that enhance financial inclusion. All of the things that the World Bank, the World Trade Organization, Bank of International Settlements, everybody's been working on is financial inclusion. And they are doing it. Why? Because particularly it's the young adults and the rural communities that will get that access, which they haven't had in the past. E-commerce, for instance, rising smartphone usage and internet access, fiber optics right there, right? Remember? Okay, internet access are fueling demand for online marketplaces, delivery services of all things. We have the United States Postal Service and many others. They're going to have the same kind of things going on over there. A company called Miswag and Ordii, I guess it's Orderii. Well, look, those are going to be companies that are going to be booming over there. And if they're traded on the ISX, hey, take a look at that. It says agri-tech. It says agricultural remains a cornerstone of the economy. There's immense potential for technology-driven transformation in this sector. Startups are beginning now to introduce technology to improve crop management, increase yield, and optimize their resources. And then the edutech. It's Iraq's demand for education technology is growing. It says edutech can make quality education accessible, especially in regions where physical infrastructure is limited. So the report prepared by this gentleman, Azam, also gives an overview of the startup ecosystem in Iraq and concludes with a list of areas for improvement. And so obviously everybody's kind of paying attention and checking it out, because Iraq is going to give you a reason why they're going to be as powerful as they're going to be. So like I've said at the beginning, Iraq's opening her doors, and she's definitely getting loads of attention. And rightfully so. It's that time. An industrial revolution is basically going to be coming to Iraq. We talked about industrial sector. It's going to be big, and they're going to keep growing that. They talked about timelines for what their projects and stuff are going to be, and they're 5, 10, 20 years. So Iraq's got some growth, you guys, and that's what investors are going to like, and myself included. Because of Iraq, it says Iran will accept what it did not accept before. Interesting. This article says strategic and security affairs researcher Elias Thursday said Iran will accept, quote, what it did not accept before in order to preserve Iraq, because it is the gateway to its safety, safety and the gateway to the danger that could reach in the future. This gentleman, Elias, is basically posting on the X platform, which is, as you guys all know, very popular. So it says Iraq is the jewel in Iran's crown in the region and is the wall that protects it from a major collapse. So it will secure and preserve it, even if it is forced to accept what it did not accept before. So there's a change in the air between Iran and Iraq. It says today, Iran is open to all the regional and international solutions and conditions proposed in Iraq, because it is the gateway to its safety and the gateway to the danger that could reach it in the future. So basically, getting on board is going to create a better environment for their neighbor, one of the largest trading partners Iraq has. And that's a good thing. So if they tone down their, aggressiveness behavior around the world, obviously they're probably going to have to weigh the costs and then by how much money they're going to make. So we'll see how that goes, and realize Iran is one of Iraq's major trading partners. It looks like it's time to do business, and not terrorism. So I think this is a strong picture that's being painted. On this next article, the advisor to the Prime Minister announces granting more than 8,000 loans under the Riyadh Initiative. You guys remember what the Riyadh Initiative is about? It's about supporting small, medium enterprises, basically the backbone of a private sector in any flourishing economy. And Iraq is showing that that's what they've been doing. They told you that they were going to do it, and now they've already told you that not only did they have 18,000 applications, they have 8,000 loans already started. It goes on, it says, what are they going to be doing? The Riyadh Initiative has provided an opportunity for many citizens looking for a job opportunity to develop their skills and carry out projects. Some of these projects are especially in artificial intelligence. Realize that artificial intelligence, I put an audio in of my views in brief on some things today in our Patreon. So for all of you that are members, if you haven't seen it, check it out, because it's important, and I think it's a small short clip of about 9 minutes. You can find that in patreon.com/MM&C-Crew, and take a peek at it, enjoy it. Okay, it says, back to that, well, these projects are especially in artificial intelligence. Remember, this new technology is going to have machine learning, artificial intelligence, it's going to have IT, all that stuff's going to be involved. Why? It's a digital world they're going into, and it's going to be a big thing, and it's in baby steps at the moment, but man, is it going to probably just grow into the future. And if you take a look around the world, this AI is going to be a big deal, whether we like it or not, but that's where it's headed. So as an investor, you should be paying attention to that, I think. It says there's been 8,130 loans have been granted in the initiative so far. And for what? To implement projects. It says the number of those applying for loans reached about 18,000 people. And in turn, they support the development of their ideas and projects that include craftsmanship, professionalism, production, industry, technology, and the digital world. Yeah, so here again, we see that Iraq is doing what they said they were going to do. The Riyadh Initiative is exactly what they said they were going to do. They were going to try to promote and to support the small, medium enterprises and the private sector. And what's that going to do? It's going to create jobs, which is going to create what? Those non-oil revenues. And it's going to support what? Their budget. It's going to help pay for it. I think we all know that they talked about that non-oil revenues will pay about 1/3 of Iraq's budget. That's above and beyond oil. It's unbelievable. It's awesome. Okay, so lastly, look, there's an article called, there's a couple of these articles, and they all have some similarity, but this one has a unique component to it that the others didn't. One of the things they talk about in the other articles is the 13 Iraqi banks, etc. Okay, but they don't get into the in-depth of this article, and I highly suggest everybody come in and get it. It's in Patreon, and read it. But the title of it is, for an easy search, is called Fluctuating Dinar, Economic Experts Urge Action as Dollar Soars in Iraq. Okay, so what this is basically going to start off with is that they are talking about that the parallel market is going up, meaning that they're charging more for illicit trade If you want dollars, it's going to cost you a lot more dinar. And that's what they're doing. And I think they are panicking. And because why? Because the dollar is drying up. And they're not going to have that amount to be able to facilitate some trade. And what trade is it? Well, they call it the parallel market for a reason. It's an illicit trade. And that's it's illegal. That's basically all it comes down to. So anyway, one of the headlines is root causes of its volatility. They go on and talk about it. They talk about emerging pressures. They go on and talk about the future uncertainty amid policy shifts. Interestingly enough, they talk about some dominant banks that monopolize the sector, sidelining smaller institutions and creating a bottleneck for dollar supply. But also, they talk about these banks will dictate exchange rates. So that's powerful because we're talking about exchange rate. Well, they say exchange rate, likely driving up prices. The central bank must advocate for local banks to establish accounts with international institutions like JP Morgan and Citibank. It's interesting that we all heard stories, oh, we don't deal with the dinar, we don't deal with that. So, but here again, they invoke, that's what they put in writing, JP Morgan and Citibank. So Iraq has to be, these entities need to open bank accounts with institutions to have a relationship with the likes of banks such as those. So keep that in mind. Part of it talks about one of the topics is the reassurances from the Central Bank of Iraq. It says, this is kind of important here. It says the transition will be completed gradually, ensuring continuity. The bank stated, adding that the partnerships with foreign banks such as China, India, Turkey, and the UAE would facilitate trade using non-dollar currencies such as the yuan and the euro. The black market's having a problem is because they're going to have other facilities to do business, international trade. You get online, you get on board, get a correspondent bank, and you can still do business. Not necessarily if it's illicit or not, but that's what, if you want to keep doing business. And this is this market is only about 5, or last said was about 5%. I think it's probably less than that now. Probably why they're scrambling is because it's really getting tight. Okay, so it says 13 Iraqi banks have already begun operations under the new framework, offering pre-approved transfers and enabling global payment systems and personal and commercial needs. Okay, so if you think about it, personal and commercial needs, they're talking about personal business and commercial businesses, in my view, because that's what's doing business. If they're businesses, they're doing this. Private, commercial, okay. The statement says, these steps aim to stabilize the currency and curb inflation, reinforcing official exchange rates. It says rates this time. It says official exchange rates as the benchmark for legitimate economic activities. In the finance world and in central bank world, benchmarks relate to interest rates too. Okay, exchange rates, interest rates. And so it says as the benchmark for legitimate economic activities. And so when they're talking about international companies like JP Morgan and Citibank, and they're talking here about other currencies dealing in currency, so big banks like those two and others deal in interest rates, and they also deal in exchange rates. And in this particular case, they invoke exchange rates as in plural. Okay, that to me is international. That's more than one currency. And that happened, as I did in my other video, that they were talking about the official exchange rate. And in this case, they will probably talking about it. I think again too, it says, yes, it says providing these channels for all purposes at the official dollar exchange rate makes this rate the true benchmark for economic practices as evidenced by price stability and inflation control. So I have to say, everybody, that that's a powerful paragraph. I think everybody should probably absorb it and realize exactly what is going on. Iraq has made a move yesterday, and they openly talked about it. It says to me that when I said they're beginning to open their doors, they have, spoken in a big way. So when they're talking about benchmarks, if you look up what interest rates are and what some of these entities that deal with that, and if you go back in history a little bit, you'll know that interest rates are a very big component of helping the world get through. If you're going to print money at no abandon, whether it be the United States or globally, what happens is you're going to have some inflation. And so what they're trying to do is try to do something, and Iraq having been said to be effectively the savior of the financial world, they're going to have a powerful impact with the world. And if they can stabilize interest rates, because interest rates affect small businesses, interest rates affect personal people, even down to the general public. So obviously they're going to try to, that's what they're trying to do, it looks like, or they're going to do it. That's what it looks like. So I would say take a look at this article closely. To me, the implications are huge if we can believe what they say. I do like it. There are other variations of this article, like I started off with, as you all may very well know. But they may put those out on purpose, and maybe that's why they left some of that data out of the others, is because it's not necessarily meant for everybody's eyes, but it's, hey, plausible deniability. They told us, and there it is in black and white. Basically, this article has my attention, and why? Well, yesterday they told us about transfer operations in foreign currencies at the official price. Okay? Foreign currencies at the official price. So guess what? Interest rates are plural. Rates are plural. Okay? They're global, and they are to a very large degree. In fact, they have benchmarks that set the stage for international interest rates. And for instance, the LIBOR. You guys have probably heard about that in the past. That's pretty much gone away, and they had to make a new one. And it's called SOFR, S-O-F-R. Okay, and their benchmarks, and the latter one, the SOFR, is probably being the most relevant today. And you'll see that if you Google it and look it up, or you use whatever you want. But if you search, you'll find it. Okay, so when they talk about global payment systems for personal and commercial use, and invoke exchange rates being plural, and legitimate economic activities, makes me question, man, my eyes are open, ears are tuned in and listening, because it's a big deal. So if you look into this article and you look into the data that it presents, you might realize we are and watching what they're doing and who's involved. Why will central banks deal in interest rates? Absolutely do. Iraq is said to be a new lender, if you remember that. A new lender, well, are you a new lender at 1310? No. Are you going to be a new lender because you're going to have all those non-oil revenues and you're going to have plenty of income? Absolutely. It's going to be huge. I think that they're about to show us why, that they're going to be doing that. And I think that exchange rate reflection is going to reflect that, I should say. They're about not only to show you at the AIG, all right, government contract level. They're going to talk about the commercial and personal business level, then the general public. It's going to be a sequence. That's what the new system, that unified system, is about. You've heard about the unified treasury account, the unified system, the digital system, the new platform, the getting rid of the dollar as we knew it on those dollar auctions. They've changed the name to the currency window. We talked about all that in a video. Okay, so ultimately, when the general public is going to get the same information, so at first you have the contractors, they get set up, the government contractors, and then it's the personal businesses and the commercial businesses. They can have a need for the ability to take care of business prior to the general public. And so if that's what they've done, and they said they started potentially yesterday, if that's the implications that comes from it, obviously it's going to be a powerful situation. So we're going to watch and wait and see if this data supports that. Our theory is that we're watching things happen in real time. So let's see. Look, Iraq has all the tools that she needs, basically. The black market, the parallel market, call it what you may, they're freaking out. Why? Because their business, their jobs, those guys are going to lose their jobs. A lot of guys may very well be working to what they believe is a legitimate job, but ultimately it's not going to pan out very well, because unfortunately they talked about shocks. They've been warned. Get on the new system. If you want to do international trade, get on the new system or you're going to be left behind. Basically, the unified system is complete for foreign transfers. The article yesterday says it's begun. Okay, so you got to take them for what they say. We're going to find out if it's true or not, but that's what they said. Other than showing us an exchange rate this far, they're telling us massive amount of stuff. But what are we lacking? I think that one of the only things that may be the only thing is their new real effective exchange rate. I'm not so sure that's going to happen in a matter of moments. Could it happen at any time? I wouldn't be surprised. But then again, we don't have a crystal ball here at MM&C, but we do bring you some good quality data, I think, and I think you guys will enjoy it, and I think it'll bring you some hope. And on a Friday night, hey, let's see what happens, you guys. This weekend is going to be wide open for more information, and I'm hoping we look for Al-Iraq to have a conversation with us. So anyway, enjoy your weekend. I'm glad you're with us. Thank you very much. Don't forget to put those notifications on. So if you like our content, you know what? Hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Don't forget to put your notifications on. And again, our donations are very much welcome. We have Zelle, Venmo, and PayPal, and the gears have been greased. Thank you guys so much. Sincere. Have a great weekend. Militia Man and Crew. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running.